Hello and welcome to Be Here Now, the Peaceful Empowerment Works show. We are live on the new streaming network.com, home of goingboldmedia.com, goingsolomedia.com, and WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio. I am your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss Janice. Leonard, we can't hear you. Oh no, what happened? Come back, Janice. Come back. This has been a day of some technical difficulties. There she is.
All right. That's what I get for trying
to... And I'm here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard. Oh, goodness.
Woo. We are here today, being here now, where we are present. We are inviting different perspectives so that we can allow in peace. Our topic today is holiday stressed. Put your tools to the test. So we're going to be talking about tools that have been offered up on the show, tools that we have been using, just reminders, because we're headed into the holiday season, which could be very stressful. And Janice is like, can we talk about the elephant in the room? We will be discussing the events of the day and how there is a collective energy of fear. We'll just put it that way for now. But before we dive into that, Janice, how about you ring us in?
Love to.
All right. I'm hearing that we need to clarify. Yes, there is a collective energy. There is fear and there is the unknown. There's a lot of different energies going on right now because we want to make it very clear we don't get political on the show. So this is all about healing and energy. There has been a collective holding of the breath to get through yesterday. So people are feeling all kinds of different ways. And when there's a surge of energetic release, it's impactful. People feel it. So we're going to talk a little bit about some tools on how to move through that and honor where you are. But before that, Janice, give us some good news, please.
Oh, I'd love to. This week, I found this and it really hit me. It's from How History Looks. I got it off Facebook. And I think it's also on Instagram. But this is about a man named Nicholas Winston. And I'll let you watch it. And I'm going to actually, if it doesn't have the volume, I will do the volume. Okay.
If you are actually sitting next to Nicholas Winston.
They're welcoming him. He's not sure. He went there to see a show. And they're all showing cards right now. He's looking at that person. She is one of the 669.
Can I ask, is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winston? If so, could you stand up, please?
There we go.
tell you that you are actually sitting next to Nicholas Winton.
Okay.
That's repeating. That's
Yep,
good.
we're beginning.
Thanks, Steve. So what this is Nicholas Winston. He helped 669 Jewish children escape during World War II. His efforts went unrecognized for 50 years. Then in 1998, while sitting as a member of a TV audience, he suddenly found himself surrounded by the kids he'd rescued, who are now adults. Wow. So what you saw is him sitting there, and first of all, the person next to him introduced themselves, and he's kind of like, what? And then other members of the audience were lifting up their cards with their names and who they were and the age, giving the information of them when he rescued them to help them get to safety during World War II. Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah, goosebumps. I mean, I've seen this so many times now, and it still gives me goosebumps.
Yes. Woo. Woo. That's amazing. All right. Okay. We're going to roll right into Attitude is Everything, because we are in search of some weekly affirmations.
Yes, we are. Weekly affirmation.
Yes, weekly affirmation.
And I need. We have Cece producing today, and she's not in our regular rhythm. One more. There we go. One more. One more. We need one more.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. I am deserving of true, lasting happiness. I welcome joy into my life each day. I am at peace with who I am and trust that happiness flows naturally within me. My heart is open to love, gratitude, and kindness, and I radiate these qualities to those around me. And I especially need that right now as I deal with all my emotions and feelings today. So I appreciate being reminded of some tools and some healthy, healing, positive movement forward.
Excellent. I am deserving of true, lasting happiness. Amen. We all are.
And there's joy in each day, and I welcome it. And you have to have your eyes open to see it sometimes. It's not easy.
Yep. Keep your heart open. Be open to love. Katie Anna, who has started a show that usually runs before us on Thursdays, she was one of my teachers back in, my early journey. And that was one of the directives. Stay open to love. That's not just when things are good. It's when things are challenging as well. We must always stay open to love, because we are here to love and be loved. So, yeah. So that being said, let's move forward to tool time. And these things are going to look familiar to you because we talked about emotional intelligence. Perfect. And we thought today would be a great day as we're moving into the holidays again and dealing with stress, whether it's holiday stress, election stress. Things have been pretty tumultuous here in the U.S. leading up to the election, and there's been a lot of pent-up energy. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the stress of that energy. Regardless of who won, the energy would be chaotic, is the word I'm hearing. The energy would be chaotic. So we want to deal with the chaotic energy that you're feeling. And, the biggest thing about emotional intelligence is being self-aware. And when Janice and I were talking in the pregame show meeting, we were talking about how it's really important that we use our energetic hygiene tools so that we can clear all the collective energy that we're feeling that isn't ours, because we can't process and deal with anything that's our stuff until we know what our stuff is. So being self-aware is this everything that I'm feeling now? Is this all mine? Right. Only you.
Exactly.
Yes. So once you can clear the energies that aren't yours, then you know what you're working with. And it's funny because when we think about holiday stress, there is a fear that underlines stress. And when we're feeling that fear, it's about, okay, well, what is that about? Sometimes we need to dive into it. Sometimes we just need to honor it and recognize it. And, one side or the other, there is a fear of the unknown because we don't know what's going to happen next. And we've talked about this on the show before. We're in this energy where we've never been before as a collective. So the future is unknown. And we've done so much work to trust our own intuition that now we're being challenged to really trust that the universe, source, whatever it is you want to call it, has the plan. The universe is conspiring in our favor always. And we have to trust that the path we're on is the path that is needed in order to set the collective free and for the collective to heal. So, the big thing is being self-aware, getting to that place of, okay, this is my energy. These are my emotions that I want to deal with. And the big thing is to honor them. Honor them, allow yourself to express them, and clear them. Do not sit in them. Do not sit in the fear. Do not sit in the frustration. Do not sit in the anger. Don't sit in the grief. All emotions, whether you're ecstatic or whether you're filled with grief and fear, emotions are meant to be moved through. Okay? And if you choose to go out, social awareness, when you're going out in the world today, if you can't go out in the energy of being kind and respectful, then you might want to stay home and not protect yourself. But yes, if you're not in the energy of being able to show up in that space of love, like we talk about, you're not able to show up and give kindness and respect. And that means that you need more time to yourself for the healing. Because how we show up in the world is what we can control. And when we're looking at things, what can we control? What can't we control? Focus on what you can. And how you show up, definitely something you can control.
Yeah, we need to be in kindness and respect, and that's what we want to be. And we have to make sure we can be. Mm-hmm. And because of how we treat others, and we don't want to continue chaos and negative, and we don't want to continue the fear. Mm-hmm. And part of that is making sure we show up in a way that we can be kind and respect to everyone around us.
Yes. Yeah. And we've talked a lot about living in survival mode, and the basis of living in survival mode is fear. And when we live in survival mode and we're controlled by that fear, then, we're just existing. We're not living. And that's what all our healing has been about, is getting our lives to a place where we're experiencing happiness. We're experiencing joy. We're not afraid of our own shadows. If there's something that triggers us, we look at it and we want to heal it. We don't run from it. So now we're being challenged on a bigger scale to look at the shadows and not feed into the fear, because we've learned in our own personal healing that feeding the fear is never healing, ever. Or
I would say, in terms of self-awareness, that's my pattern in the past, was the fear. Yeah, definitely. It's something I need to be aware of it. I need to work on overcoming it and not letting it affect my life and people I love's life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in all of us, that's, we were stuck in fear for so long, we didn't even realize that's what it was. But and for me, it was fear of not being enough, fear of being abandoned, fear of this, fear of that, and I've said many times over the past 10 years that, this is all training. We're training for something. I don't know what the hell it is, but we're training for something. We have to experience this inner healing because it's going to be needed on a bigger scale. Well, you know what, people? It's here. It's time. We've done all this healing so that we can stand grounded in our light and feed truth and love versus feeding the fear. So regardless of where you are, focus on what you can control. And do you want to feed the fear, or do you want to feed growth in love and truth? That decision is yours. and nobody else's.
Mm.
I said to Jen last night, I was like, if everybody could just function in this world with the basis, the bare minimum of kindness and respect, the world would be a different place. So if that's what we wish to have in this world, that's what we have to be. We've been saying all along that we're the example, we're the example, we're the example. Here we are. And it's not about ignoring your emotions and whatever it is you're feeling. It's about honoring them, respecting them, and not sitting in them, allowing them to move through us like we did in our own personal healing.
Yes. I appreciate and look forward to any reinforcement of that so that I can maintain peace and stay out of the fear as we move forward in a country that's so divided. It feels so divided. Mm-hmm. And it scares me. But, but I'm putting the emotion out there so that we can look at it and then say, okay, so how do we deal with that? And how do we move ahead in a positive, loving, peaceful way?
Yeah. And we've talked a lot about emotional loops and patterns and damaging patterns. And the pattern has been, when your person didn't win or whatever, then there would be anger and things would happen. And you felt like your team lost. I was talking to a friend yesterday and it was like, voting seems to me like voting for your favorite football team. And you want them to win. And, it cuts it down to the basics. But I'm not going to lie, I'm a Ravens fan. And when they lose, it takes me a bit to process, especially when they lose like the Ravens tend to lose. There's anger that I must move through. There's frustration that I must move through. And instead of pointing fingers at other people and blaming it on the refs or blaming it on this, it's, this is what it is right now. And it's how can we move forward in truth and love? Because in order to heal it, we got to see it first. So if we put our focus on truth and love, then the truth will come up.
And it is too, the fear is so out there. If you watch the news or if you even the social media, this fear is being thrown at you all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy we're having the show today because for me, I want to stay in a place of out of fear.
Yeah. So really, take care of yourself. Janice and I were talking about this before. Really take care of yourself and pay attention to what you're watching, what you're looking, what you're scrolling through, what I call it doom scrolling, what you're scrolling through. And, if you're feeling low, it's not about ignoring the emotion or going numb, but it's about, okay, this is what I'm feeling. How can I shift this? Laughter is one of the quickest ways to raise your vibration. Music is another very quick way to raise your vibration. Dancing, it's about being intentional and doing things that serve you and bring you joy. Because again, that's what you can control. The focus has to be on what we can control. Because that's when true healing occurs. When we start thinking outside of what we have control over, that's when we lose hope.
And if we stay in the peace, love place, it does project out and it does help the big greater good and the bigger world. And as much as we can do that, I think that's really what we're about here. Is let's be in peace and love and let's try to. I remember when I first got involved, they talked about changing the world. Let's change the world. I was like, but I get it. The world around you as much as you can, and whoever you're touching, if you stay there and you stay in the peace and love and not in the fear and the blame and the fear place, that can be bad. So yeah, we can make a difference. That's how we're going to make a difference moving forward. So we're going to try to stay in peace and love and pass that along to everyone.
Yes. And remember, how things look on your inside is the reality of your world on the outside. That's why we've worked so hard to find peace within, and I've shown this picture on the show before. It's titled Unmoved. Where'd she go? You're surrounded by the wolves, but you sit there in peace and calm and love.
And look how you can. It's all relative. You don't have to be part of the wolves. You can be in peace, right with yourself. I like that.
Yes. I keep that right next to keep it on my desk every day. And a little picture of my daughter on there too, because I want her to be nice and safe. But yeah, so you do whatever you have to do to move through these emotions. Remember, you're deciding what you want to feed. Do you want to feed the fear, or do you want to feed the growth and love and truth? Take care of yourself.
Bottom line. Yep. Bottom line.
Take care of yourself. So I think
the reality is here.
Yep. Exactly. When you can be at peace, you're projecting that energy of peace out. Okay. And it attracts peace to you. We all are one. That's what the reality that we're coming to. We need to come together as one to make these shifts that we want to see in the world. And division is not the way to do it. And we have a very small percentage of people that work very hard to keep us divided.
And they play on our fear.
And yes, and if we can sit in a space of non-judgment, respect, and be kind to people, and actually, we'll get into this in the next segment, because this is going to be great when we're talking about holiday family gatherings.
Yeah. Good answer.
This is a place for us to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
You listen to the words on the commercial. It's great because it's really perfect for what we say and do.
And
I was wrong. There aren't any words, but
no.
Sorry about that. But it talks about being here, being heard, last week there was something that just triggered me. It said, and I don't know if it was something different, but it felt like it was saying about finding peace and spreading the news, spreading the peace.
Gotcha.
That's what it's about.
And we're back to be here now, the Peaceful Empowerment Works show. And we're going to start talking about holiday stress. Put your tools to the test. We've been talking about tools. We've been we have tool time. And I know for me, when I start getting super stressed, I forget my tools.
Oh, yes. So maybe there's stuff we can do to plan ahead. Like, my stepson has very different values and views than I do. Mm-hmm. And how do I prepare for this? How can I in the micro of the bigger issue of how do I still find peace and love and present? How do I do that?
Yeah. The biggest thing to remember is stress doesn't come from what's going on in your life. It comes from your thoughts about what's going on in your life. What's happening, what is what is. It's all in how we handle it. And I can remember, I was a teacher for all of you people that watch and know. And at one of the in-services, the guest speaker was like, I came out to, the other day, my wife went to go to work and she went out, she had a flat tire. And she was like, oh, I can't believe I have a flat tire. I'm going to be late, blah, blah, blah. And he says, but the next day I went out and I had a flat tire. And I was like, woohoo! I don't have to go to work.
Oh.
So it's all about perspective. Attitude truly is everything. We don't say that just because it's, a catchy little saying. It is the truth. Your attitude approaching everything is going to help with your stress level. I was working with a client the other day and she kept saying, I'm so fragile. My body is so fragile. If you keep telling yourself you're fragile, then that's what it will be. So we are very conditioned that holidays are stressful. So you have an opportunity now to just think about how your holidays have been in the past with no judgment. Allow yourself to feel as you're thinking or saying or talking about holidays in the past, about the things that are particularly stressful to you. How does that feel to you? And then ask yourself, what can I do to shift out of the stress? Because holidays are supposed to be about gathering with loved ones and feeling joy and happiness. But instead, we're used to the stress of cooking and shopping and cleaning and not having enough and not being enough and all these things. So
Family members.
Exactly. So the challenge is, okay, how do we break that pattern of holiday stress being the norm? Let's do something radical and make holidays happy and joyful. And
Judy, tell us how.
I saw this meme on Facebook and I was like, it is perfect for this show. And it says, it's simple. Treat yourself well while not harming others. Treat others well while not harming yourself. So think about that. How many things do you do throughout the holiday out of obligation versus from that heart-centered love place? Because the things that you do out of obligation build resentment. And resentment kicks the door open for stress. Okay, so take a little inventory. Yeah, take a little inventory about that. And really, these things that you're doing out of obligation, are there something that you have to do? And if it's something that, you'd feel like you do have to do, ask the question, well, then how can I do this from a place of love? Show me how to do this from a place of love.
So it sounds like you are saying planning is a good way. That sounds like planning. Like,
Absolutely.
Okay, so I've got coming up, I know I've got the stress of cooking. I know I've got the stress of cleaning the house before people come. I've got the, you know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever fits family members or whatever it is else that's going to add to that stress. So you do plan ahead. Okay.
Yeah. And really ask yourself, what can I do to alleviate that stress? Do you enjoy cooking? That's I don't enjoy cooking. There's too much pressure on me when I cook and I don't enjoy it. So there are things that I do. I provide the sides, I'll make the mashed potatoes and mom's stuffing and things like that. And that relieves my stress of having to do the big meal.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. I do the turkey, but we do like my sister brings like the potatoes and the vegetables, and my daughter will do the desserts, and because I don't like cooking.
There you go.
It didn't used to be people brought parts traditionally in my family, but when this was the best house to have Thanksgiving in, I had to say, okay, can you bring this? Can you bring that? I'm not. It really just was too much for me. Too much doing all the cooking, and I don't necessarily enjoy it. I don't mind the turkey. Jeepers, you do a little work and you stick it in the oven. That's it. And then I know people like my sister's very, this is how you do it. You go along, and I let her be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it doesn't bother me because I've let her be the leader a lot. But now she's gotten to a stage where she's a little older. And she doesn't take the lead. So it's like now I have to prepare a little differently because she's not going to sit there and just take care of it. She used to.
And that going in. So have a plan. It's now when you asked family members to help and bring sides and desserts, did they give you any pushback?
No.
Mm-mm.
But I know my daughter is going to be busy and she may end up just buying something on her way to the house. Right. So I give her the rolls and I give her the snacks or whatever so that if she cooks, that's great. But if she doesn't cook and she just gets it, so, I respect that she leads a very, very busy, chaotic life. and that may happen. So yeah.
And that's perfect. So that
And
relieves.
she's often late, so I don't give her the hors d'oeuvres because you want them set up, and because she's late, so people want to eat ahead of time, and you don't want to eat right before you
Right.
have the turkey. So yeah, so like I know the different people and try to plan it that way.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. And then my thing is cleanup. Do you have somebody that's going to help you clean up? Because I hear, and I mean, I watched my mother go through it, where you spend hours and hours and hours getting up at the crack of dawn, preparing everything. And then you finally get it on the table. You have about 25 minutes of family together. And then she's in the kitchen cleaning everything up.
Yeah.
So are there things that you want to do differently that were done in the past? And it's interesting because, our family's expanding. My niece has had a baby. My nephew and his wife are expecting. So holidays are going to look very different because my older sister's house, that's where she had the big house. So that's where we would always gather. But now her kids are having kids and they don't live super close. So our holidays are going to be changing and evolving. And I feel like this year we need to have the conversation because we've brought it up here and there. And once COVID started, I think it might have even been before COVID, Thanksgiving kind of turned into something where she was at her in-laws and my other sister was at her in-laws. So we would do something small at home. So that holiday is kind of a thing. And then Christmas Day was always big and at my sister's. And then COVID hit and that kind of wavered. And then last year it resurged. So, but now she has a grandson. And then when this other grandson comes up, I know Nana is going to go wherever the babies are. So this is definitely something that we need to talk about. And it's interesting how it stresses out my daughter. My daughter is very stressed about the holidays already because she wants to see everybody, but we don't really have any plans set in place yet because everybody's just like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But we also agree that it's not super important that we all have to get together on Christmas. It can be the day after Christmas. As long as we get time together, we're good. We're very good with that. Me personally, I would just like to get it set because more babies are going to be coming. And I want to be able to love on these babies too because I'm great Aunt Judy. Or as I like to say, Judy the Great. I want to love on these babies too. So yeah, I would like us to get something in place that becomes the new tradition. But I haven't really talked to anybody deeply about that in my family. I'm pretty sure they're not watching the show except for Laura. She catches the show. So
hi, Laura.
We'll get on that. But yeah. And very much so when you're going to the family gathering, like Janice, you've mentioned your nephew twice. So there's some nerves, anxiety a little. And that's where I feel like we need to remember exactly what I read. You need to take care of you too. Be kind to others, but also be kind to yourself. So if you feel yourself in a conversation where you don't feel comfortable, allow yourself the luxury to excuse yourself. It doesn't have to be a drama. It doesn't have to be anything. Or sit quietly and observe. That's been an interesting thing for me. Family functions, I sit and I watch a lot now. And just do my best to remain non-judgmental. But really just observe the interactions and get a feeling of the energy and how many, this is going to sound, but it's almost a game sometimes of how many old patterns of mine that I see in my siblings. Yeah, which was very interesting. So,
or the old patterns that come up because of the stress.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where that self-awareness comes in.
How about if let's say there's a toxic person in the group? How do you deal with that? Any suggestions?
Okay. I think the biggest thing is you need to remember that you're not obligated to engage with anyone. You do what feels best to you. You have to be kind and respectful to yourself before you can be kind and respectful to others. So if you feel that that person energetically is not a good influence for you in that moment or in that time, then you be kind and respectful and cordial and remove yourself from their energy. And again, this is about you and how you're feeling in the situations. You want to reduce your stress. And a lot of stress comes from feeling like things are out of control. So when you remind yourself that you have the control of who has access to your energy and who doesn't, and you can ground that and truly believe it and not work out of old patterns and not work out of obligation and not working out of keeping the peace. I mean,
what's interesting is my first thought is, no, I'm responsible for everybody's enjoying the holiday. And so it's like I have to take this person might ruin it for everybody. So do I have to deal? You're saying I don't have to?
No, you are not responsible for everybody else's happiness. You are responsible for your own. And that's what we need to remember. You know, when we can show up and be responsible for us and relieve that heaviness of feeling responsible for everybody else, that reduces that stress level quite a bit. Yeah, they're like, let that one sink in a little bit.
Yeah.
And remember, things, you know how things go. I know in my family gatherings, the alcohol comes out and people start talking and conversations can get loud. We'll put it that way. There isn't a lot of arguing. There's a lot of laughter at my family gatherings and things like that. But there are heated conversations that can arise. So if and when that happens, just remember, people can't make you feel any kind of way. If something is said and it triggers something in you, that's your trigger. That's not theirs.
That's interesting. Because I'm thinking about, like, last year we had a situation, there's only 4 of us, and one person just ended up sitting like behind us all in a corner, totally removed themselves. And I feel like, oh, that's not okay. He's got to be sitting with us. He's got to be part of it, and so on. So basically it's like that person's responsible for themselves. And we just go on and let them sit back and be in a bad place. And I don't have to, it's not my job. It's not like judging him. He's wrong for doing that, which is what I kind of did. So, oh no, this is going to ruin everyone's holiday, but it didn't have to.
No. And that's just it. If he felt like he needed to remove himself and sit in a corner because that was best for him, okay. It's okay to check in. Is there anything you need or I can do for you? And if they say no, okay, you let them be. This isn't about sacrificing. We're not meant to sacrifice. It is that when we feel safe in a space, it invites everybody else to feel safe too. And, a lot of the fear is uncomfortable conversations. And we had a whole show about navigating uncomfortable conversations. And these are the tools that we're talking about you remembering, and when you can be present and listen for understanding, not listen to reply, or the whole time you're sitting there, you're thinking about what your response is going to be. But when you can be curious, your nephew has a different way of thinking than you do. Have you ever asked him why? Oh, yeah.
But the thing is that's not me. That's him, and I'm not responsible for him, and I'm not responsible for everybody having a good time.
Mm-mm. No, and
That's-
if
that's the-
you don't
that's the
want
thing.
to engage in that conversation, that's the best thing. If you don't want to engage in a conversation, you don't have to. And you don't have to get up and storm out. You know, your energy speaks for you. And if you just withdraw your energy from the conversation, you don't even have to get up and leave.
Well, those of us who maybe have people who are drug or alcohol addicted people or in recovery, you have to deal with this. They'll be in the room, and then it can be very much the beacon on that person. What's going on? What are they doing? You know, and
okay,
this is what I'm talking about. And what I'm hearing is I didn't have to make him the beacon in the room and the behaviors and choices. It's, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, you know. I mean, are you at Thanksgiving dinner, are you going to be able to change the fact that he has addiction issues?
No.
No. So why put a beacon of light on it? You know, again,
you need to control it. I don't know. It must be a need of control. Yeah. I feel responsible for everyone having a good holiday. And yeah, that's really
this new year. And this is a new Janice, because Janice isn't going to feel responsible for everybody having a good time.
Yeah.
What can you control? You can control that the turkey is delicious and that the house is clean and that, and you don't even have to clean the house if you don't want to clean the house.
Yeah, not, yeah.
You are providing a safe environment for everybody to come and gather and enjoy a good meal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanksgiving goes smoothly. It's usually Christmas. Thanksgiving will go smoothly. It's Christmas.
Okay. So again, we're responsible for the energy we show up in.
Yeah.
We're not responsible for everybody else, whether or not they have a good time. And if we can be kind and respectful to everyone, it changes everything.
Oh, we gabbed.
Okay. All right.
Thank
I think
you.
the only last thing I want to say is, what did we have? Collecting and sharing of thoughts, willingness to learn, and don't give unsolicited advice. That's what starts a lot of issues. People giving unsolicited advice.
Because you're judging. If you're giving advice, generally that means you're judging that what they're doing is not okay. So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. It's time for us to wrap it up. That's what Janice was saying. Would you like to do your quick little blurb?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe the time flies. I hope that this is helpful. Yes. Energy of boundaries. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes.
And thanks everybody. I hope this has helped us look at and deal with some stress and how we're moving forward in peace. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We'll love some donations if you're able to. Just go to our website. Donation buttons on the top and the bottom. And it's www.peacefulempowermentworks.org.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. We want to thank everybody for being with us. And hey, we're always here to help support in any way we can. If anybody's struggling, comment, message us on Facebook, whatever. We'll get back to you and support you in any way we can. If you enjoy our content, please like, comment, and share. And we want to thank you for choosing to be here now with us.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Be good to yourself.
Please always remember